Hello, this is Brian Hayden once again. I'd like to talk to you about the origins of music today. And as you may remember from previous discussions, we make a distinction between generalized or simple hunting and gathering societies and more complex ones with a lot of wealth and things like that. So for simple hunting and gathering societies, we can make the observation that they all have music. They all sing, they all use their body, they clap, they stamp their feet. They use fairly simple kinds of items, sticks or stones to beat the rhythm out. And it doesn't go very much further than that. The one thing that some of them do use are what are called bull roarers. And I have one here that I got from Australia. And it's made out of wood and it's red ochred, and basically it's on a string and you just twirl it around. And this was supposed to be the sound of the voice of spirits when you heard this. So it was always played at night when you couldn't see it, and it continues on into more complex hunting and gathering societies. I'll show you what it sounds like. Just hold on for a second. Takes a minute to get it to go here, but we just twirl it around like this. And if we're lucky, if we do this long enough, here we go. Okay, so you can see what it's like. And these can occur in larger varieties too that have much deeper tone. But what we find is that when we get into complex hunting and gathering societies, we start getting more different kinds of slightly more complex instruments. These include flutes or whistles. There are also skin-headed drums, and there's rattles as well. And there may have been some other things in addition to that, but these are the most common things. And I might point out that the capacity for music, we don't really understand very well why that was adaptive, but it's very widespread in hominid evolution. Stephen Mithen actually suggested that Neanderthals began by singing rather than speaking, and that was the origin of language. So that goes back 1 to 200,000 years ago. But when we get into complex hunting and gathering societies like the ones that I suggest existed in Upper Paleolithic Europe 10 to 35,000 years ago, we start getting into more complex kinds of instrumentation, and the question is why that occurred. So we get these flutes or whistles that sound, I've got a picture of some of the flutes and whistles here from the northwest coast. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, various ones for different sounds, high-pitched and low sounds, just like the bull roars. And they sound like blowing into a bottle, basically, you know. Uh-oh. Sort of like that. But the wooden and bone varieties, and again, high-pitched and low-pitched. So one of the interesting things about these instruments, especially the flutes or whistles, is that in the Upper Paleolithic, they occur predominantly, if not exclusively, in caves. And these are the same caves that were being used for rituals and that I've suggested were used by secret societies. And basically they were secret. They were supposed to be the voices of spirits, and so nobody else could see them or discover what the actual source of that sound was. It was always portrayed as being supernatural, and that the secret societies could bring these on with their secret knowledge. Ian Morley has documented this in a great book on prehistoric music. So I've again suggested that these caves were made are decorated and used primarily for secret society rituals, and that's why we find the musical instruments inside the caves. That's where they were kept, and that's where they were used or brought out at night to be used in public demonstrations of the spirits, so which were masked and things like that. So they feature fairly prominently in the book that I wrote on the Upper Paleolithic, The Adventures of Sev, in the book called The Eyes of the Leopard. So if you want to see a little bit more about what we think the contexts were, yeah, go out and check it out. See if you can get a copy at your local bookstore or order it through online. Okay, so in brief, that's the history of music. Obviously, it gets more complex later on with more complicated kinds of societies and more specialization. Okay, take care. We'll talk about the origins of gambling next time. Okay, take care. Bye.